Greenland would love to become a state.
Trump has said he wants the United States to take possession of Greenland, a Danish territory. More usual Trump BS? Well, maybe, but here is why I think we should take Trump seriously.
We need them for economic security.
Do you expect the U.S. to acquire Greenland?
I think it's possible.
Maybe no price tag.
I've asked 2 UK government ministers whether the UK is against the United States invasion of Greenland. I can't say, in terms of an answer, I got very far with either.
Okay, I'm not going to get involved in that dispute. What I'm going to focus on is what we want to do as the UK government working with the new US administration.
So screw Denmark.
2 NATO allies, why are you saying aside?
You can understand why they might not want to weigh in. They say that they don't want to respond to a hypothetical. But this is my point. This isn't a hypothetical any longer. Trump has been absolutely clear on multiple occasions. He wants to use the full might of American military, economic and political power to take control of Greenland in some form. He even said that he basically doesn't recognize the Danish claim on the territory.
I don't know that Denmark has any right, title, and interest.
Despite the fact it has been part of the Kingdom of Denmark in one form or another since 1721. The Danish PM, Mette Frederiksen, has toured EU capitals trying to drum up support. The FT reported that Danish officials, including Frederiksen herself, were disturbed by Trump's bellicosity in a call between the two leaders, concluding that he was serious about his threats. Nordic leaders tweeted out a nice picture of a dinner between themselves, the leaders of Norway, Finland, Sweden, alongside Frederiksen in an act of Scandi-Nordic solidarity. And one Danish MEP was sufficiently spooked to say this.
Let me put it in words you might understand. Mr. Trump, fuck off.
The very fact now that we are in a position that UK government ministers feel that saying that the US should not invade a fellow NATO country is A, newsworthy, and B, potentially problematic if they do say it for the US-UK relationship, shows how very far we've travelled very, very quickly. And UK government ministers and others around the West keep clinging to the notion that Trump isn't serious about what he says, that we should take him seriously but not literally. Well, the people who've worked most closely with Trump disagree.
It's wishful thinking. There's a lot of that goes on in the United States too. Many of my friends in the Republican Party say it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. It's true Trump doesn't have a philosophy. It's true he doesn't have a grand strategy. It's true he doesn't do policy as we understand that term. It's true that he sees everything through the prism of what benefits Donald Trump. They concede all that, which is an accurate thing to do. And then they say, but look, he wants to be remembered well in history. He wants to succeed. And that's where the blip takes place.
For what it's worth, I agree with Bolton for these reasons. Number one, Trump is now completely uninhibited, unimpeded by constraints on his own power at home. And I think that he wants it to be the same abroad as well. Not since the 19th century, possibly not ever, have we seen a president so uninterested in international law, international alliances, international norms. I think as far as Trump is concerned at this point, if he wants Greenland, he should just get it. Number two, the way that Trump views power itself. It isn't just Trump, it's the people around him. They are completely uninterested, not just uninterested, but actively hostile to international institutions. Trump himself, unlike, again, I think any president of the modern era, has almost no normative view or vision as to how the world ought to be, or what America's place within it ought to be, save for the idea that might is right. That is the sort of vision we expect from Russia, from China, from other autocracies around the world, but we've never really expected it from the United States. And we need to wake up to the fact that that is how Trump sees it. For just an example of how much antipathy they have to international institutions, consider what was one of the first things that Trump has done.
Withdrawing from the World Health Organization.
Ooh, that's a big one.
And number three, Trump wants a legacy. Let's be honest, Trump has beaten all of, or nearly all of, his enemies, his foes at home. He now needs to look elsewhere. His is a project which thrives off oppositional energy. He needs enemies. And right now, he's wanting to look bigger, stronger, bolder to his domestic audience back home. He's channeling 19th century ideas deep in the American psyche of manifest destiny, of wanting to expand, of wanting to make America bigger. Maybe that's what making America great again ultimately means. He is looking for something to point at, and maybe that something is on the map, and it's called Greenland. And there are those who think, well, maybe he'll lose interest in the world or in all of this, and maybe he will. Trump is Trump. But remember, if past two-term presidents are anything to go by, they tend to get more interested in foreign policy and world affairs over time, not less, as their power at home recedes, as they might lose in the midterms or whatever it is, and look to the bit of his power over which he has most control, and that is foreign policy and America's role in the world. I'm not saying that Trump will definitely invade Greenland. Who knows what is going to go on in Trump's head? But what I am saying is that the world needs to adjust to this more muscular Trumpism. If his first term was about isolationism, then this one could be about expansionism. And whether it's Greenland or somewhere else, I think that before January the 20th, 2029, this new Trump will have caused a crisis somewhere in the world, quite unexpected. And if you like this, and even if you didn't, maybe you'll like the next thing, remember to subscribe to the News Agent's YouTube channel, which you can do below.